So today, I just want to talk about the importance of editing your work, whether it be a manuscript or an email. It's not as important in personal emails, but at least give it a once over before you send it, because A, you might say something that you totally don't mean to say, and B, if you don't look it over first, it could just be gobbledygook and the person you're sending it to gets a headache trying to read it. So editing is not just for journalists, authors, or students. It's for everyone. Why? Because we're all human and we all make mistakes. Nobody is a human dictionary, no matter how much they want to try and tell you that. They're not a human dictionary. I mean, sure, there are some word gurus out there who seem to know how to spell every single word until they don't. They're always going to come across a word that they don't know how to spell. Sometimes it's kind of fun to see someone who likes to gloat about their spelling skills to kind of fall off that high horse and not know how to spell something. Even if you do come across someone who can play an awesome game of Scrabble, seems to know how to spell almost every single word, every single point-grabbing word that they want to spell to win the game, the key word to remember is almost. They don't know how to spell every single word. They're going to come across a word that they don't know how to spell. And that's what you need to keep in mind. No matter how much they try to tell you that they can spell every word, they don't know how to spell every word. So my advice to you, when it comes to your editing, especially if it's professional work, if it's a manuscript or an article or student work where you're handing in a term paper, especially on those occasions, put your pride where the sun don't shine. You need to edit your work. Don't be ashamed to ask for or seek assistance. So whether that be from Google or Grammarly or a dictionary or a thesaurus or a family member or a friend. And I know sometimes you just want to write. You don't want to have to worry about spelling or grammar or anything like that. And I get it. I'm the same way. You've probably seen my videos where I say just sit down and write and don't worry about your grammar or spelling or structure or anything like that. And I'm not taking that back. I'm just saying once you finish that part, once you finish writing what you're going to read and you're going to be getting somebody else to read it, edit it first. Because, alright, here are a few good reasons why. Okay, number one, you want to put your best foot forward, especially if it's going to a publisher or editor or your instructor at school. But I mean, who doesn't want to be seen in the best possible light, right? So just at least give it a once over. If you're writing a personal email, at least give it a once over. Because that brings me to number two, respect. Okay? Whether it's a manuscript that you're sending to your publisher or your editor, or a term paper or a personal email, respect the other person's time. If you send something that has quite obviously not even been given a second glance, you're basically telling the recipient, I want you to take time out of your busy schedule to read this for me and give me your thoughts and opinions and make notes and all that stuff, but you know, I can't really take time out of my day to proofread it first. And it's just disrespectful. And I mean, if you're paying an editor to read this for you, they charge by the hour. The more mistakes that are in there, the longer it's going to take them and the more they're going to charge you. Don't get me wrong, mistakes will happen. It's expected. I mean, to err is human. It's a popular proverb. And you know what? Most people, especially friends, will follow through with the other part of that proverb and forgive you. But will they read your full manuscript or your full email, especially if it's long? If the majority of what you wrote is illegible to the point of making their head hurt, probably not. Probably not. So just edit your work. Take the same amount of time that you're expecting them to take to read your work, to read it through yourself. I know, you're saying, but Ellen, I don't have to edit my work. Grammarly does it for me. But does it? Grammarly is a great tool, yes, but even a hammer is only as good as the hand that wields it. As great as Grammarly is, it's still just a software program. It's a well-designed software program, yes, but still a software program. You are the only one who truly knows what you're trying to say. So make sure that that's what you're saying, whether it's in your email or your book or your essay. Here are some key things to look for when you're editing your own work. First one is misspellings. And I mean, I know, it's true. It was a really popular thing back in my day I sound so old. It used to be a really popular saying that how are you supposed to look a word up in the dictionary if you don't know how to spell it first? And it's true. I said it. I remember saying that when I was a kid. But now you have Google. You spell something, you put it in the search, and Google will say, oh, did you mean this? So even if you have somewhat of an idea of how to spell it, Google will correct you, and then you can see if that's the right word. But check the definition, because Google won't always be right either. English is hard. And nowhere is that more true than when it comes to homonyms and homophones. First of all, we'll go over what those mean. Homonyms are words that sound the same and are spelled the same but mean something different. Homophones are words that sound the same but they're spelled differently and they mean something different. Confusing, right? So, some examples of homophones. Two, and two. There, and there. Your, and your. Buy, and buy. Do and do. Right and right. Rain, and rain. There's so many. Alright, and homonyms, bark, right, pen, mean, tire, bat. That list goes on as well. And the next one is misuse. What I mean by misuse is using the wrong word in the context of what you're trying to say. It happens a lot with contractions. With a contraction, you use an apostrophe to replace the first one or two letters of a word. So your, UR would be YOU apostrophe RE. So the apostrophe is taking away the A from R. And could've would be could have, but it's contracted, it's pushed together. So it's could apostrophe VE. So the apostrophe is replacing the HA of have. Doesn't help that the spell check in some word processing software doesn't recognize some contractions as words. So there's times when I've written either would've or could've, I can't remember which one it was, and I'd get a red squiggly line underneath it saying that's not a word. I know it is, but somebody who is uncertain might be like, oh, I should change that, and because of how it sounds, they change it to could of or would of. It's not proper grammar, but they're being led astray by the spell check software. So whose fault is that? That's the spell check. Another reason is misinterpretation. So popular saying something is lost in translation. And this falls under a totally different category. Most of the time this is because English is your second language. And let me just say, if English is your second language, then kudos to you, because I can guarantee that your knowledge of the English language is 100 times better than my knowledge of your language. Just without a doubt. My French is junior high level at best, or middle grade, depending on where you are. That's the level of my French. If English is your second language, then everything I've said before this is so much more difficult for you, and I just want to take a minute to say, keep going. You will master this language at least as well as any of us have. What I call the EFLs. So English as a first language group. I mean, English is hard, right? It's hard. So kudos to you for getting as far as you have already. I hope it didn't come off as harsh. It wasn't my intention. I just want you to be able to put your best foot forward, whether it's at work, at school, or even in your personal life. It's not as crucial, obviously, for your personal life, for your personal emails, but you don't want to say the wrong thing in the email. If you're writing an email and you say something unintentional, then you're going to feel really bad. And if you're trying to get a job, if you've already got a job and you're sending an email to your boss, or if you're sending your manuscript to your editor. I mean, yeah, it's your editor, but your editor is supposed to catch the things that you missed. You didn't miss anything if you didn't go over it first. And you know what? Send it to a beta reader before you send it to your editor. And if you're wondering about beta readers, you can click up here and watch my video that I dedicated to beta readers and how they can help you. Editing your own work doesn't mean that you have to make it perfect, but you're expected to make it legible. Make it so that somebody can read it easily, and then it'll make it easier for them to point out the errors that you missed. Because if they don't know what you're trying to say, they're not going to catch all the errors either. That's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day and stay happy, healthy, and safe. Bye-bye.